night to everyone who is watching. I am about to get started. I'm going to be completing a scene that I would have started probably about a month or two ago, which is a teddy bear scene created completely in Inkscape and using only vector graphics. So I hope you'll enjoy, and yeah, that's about it. Won't be long tonight. I'm gonna try to finish this rather quickly because most of the scene is done. All I'm doing tonight is just some final elements of finishing touches, and that should be it. But I hope you learned something still along the way. Just waiting on Inkscape to get started up. I normally would have had Inkscape open already, but was running a little late, had a couple things to do. Okay, here we are. So let me get that scene open and we will get started. I have 1,000,001 bookmarks to go through because I work on a lot of things, so that's what happens there. Alrighty, so last time I would have been working on this scene, I left some illustrations of where I plan to put everything. So this should tell me all that I have left to complete. I may change the shading of the back of this wall here because I don't really like the color that it's in. And I may change, well, I don't think I'm going to probably change anything else. I'm going to add the baby here and some toys, and that should be it. So it shouldn't take me too long. I may shade behind here because I want to add some realism, but I don't think I'll have too much to do there. Alright, so let me get started. First thing I'm going to do is work on the baby teddy bear. Actually, what I'm going to use is my graphics tablet and draw the rough outline of what I want the baby to look like. Couldn't do this before because when I first started this, I didn't have the graphics tablet, I was using my mouse. So now that I actually have it, I can do a lot more. So I'm just going to give myself a rough idea of what I want to draw here. Oops, that's too big. That's far too big. That should be better. The shape of this head is not perfect, but I'll still work with it. what I really like about this technique, which I actually saw on another stream recently from Rhoda Clutter. If you haven't followed her, you should follow her, she's pretty cool. But I saw this technique on her stream and I really like it because it allows you to plan before you execute, which is something that you should do when you're doing certain kinds of art. I'm more of an impromptu kind of artist. I just get to the canvas and get right to it, but sometimes it's good to plan before you execute so you have a better idea of what it is you're trying to achieve. So that's what I'm going to try to do here. Now for the baby teddy bear, I'm actually going to give it a snout. The others don't have one, but I'm going to give the baby teddy bear a snout just to make it a little different. And some relatively big ears. Now as for the eyes, I'm not 100% sure how big I want them to be, so I'm just gonna play around with this a little bit and see what happens. Maybe I'll give it a tongue sticking out. And keep in mind this is rough because I'm actually going to use these colored elements behind here to recreate all this stuff on the layer below. Alright, now for the toys, I'm going to add another layer and draw what the toy should look like. So we're going to have a cube of some sort. And this will probably have numbers on it. You know, I just noticed this is my first stream that I've ever gone a spam bot, so that tells me I'm actually doing a lot better than I was before. That's progress. I never thought I'd be excited to get a spam bot, but I am. I'm actually going to see if I can remove this, because I've never actually done that before. Okay, I don't actually see how to remove this spam bot. Oh well. No big deal. Okay, so back to drawing some toys. I'm going to draw some other cubes somewhere around here. Not really sure what direction I want the other cubes to go in, so I'll figure this out. I mean, they're cubes, so they can't really go in any other direction, I guess I should say it to myself. I wasn't really thinking about that too much. Alright, so let me see. Could be one like this. Or let me extend this a bit in this direction. Maybe one facing the camera. Not really sure if I want to add any more toys because I don't want to complicate this scene too much. So maybe I'll just draw a toy carrot or something. Plus I don't want to take too much more time on this scene. I'm gonna try to keep it simple and straightforward with everything. And there we go. So that will be all the toys. Now let me actually get to creating this stuff. Now, I find that having a graphics tablet really comes in handy for just about anything, including the very important part of sketching what you're doing before you actually do it. Really, really handy. Okay, so back to the mouse. I'm going to turn off this baby teddy bear and focus on the toys first. Now, Inkscape does have a 3D tool, but I don't use it very often, and the reason for that is, to me, it's not as straightforward as it could be. Not that it's not useful, but just not really my cup of tea. So I don't really use it that much, but probably in a future stream I will demonstrate the use of the 3D tool and kind of dive into it. For now, I'm just going to use my usual method, which is to simulate 3D using different objects. Okay, so this first toy, oh, I actually did have some other objects here to create these toys, so I'll reuse them shortly. This first one I will put in a kind of purple color. Alright, then I'm going to drag this one over, going to convert this to a path first. Now again, I don't have to do it this way, I could just use the 3D tool and draw one using that, but not really a big fan of it per se, so I don't use it that often. I forgot to enable snapping, that should make life a little easier. Alright, let me make this layer kind of translucent because it's getting in the way a little bit. Forgot which key it is you have to hold to move. Oh, right, there we go. That's what I was looking for. If you hold control, you can move it on one axis alone. That's what I was trying to do. I'm going to widen this a little bit. Oh, by the way, anyone who was here early, sorry if you had to wait before I started because I had a couple things to do. That doesn't normally happen, but I had a couple things to do, and then start talking and all that stuff. So my apologies if you were waiting on me. Wasn't intentional. Alright, I'll make this one a kind of bright green color. Alright, that looks good to me. I didn't mean to enable the grid just now, that was an accident. I'm gonna add some text to this. Oops. Not sure what just happened there. Maybe my system is moving a little slow because I have so much going on in this scene. But I'm not 100% sure why it's jumping like that. Oops. Okay, that's way too extreme. Alright, what I'm gonna do is probably turn off some of these layers so that I don't get so much lag. So I'm gonna turn off the parents. Yeah, that makes things a lot smoother. This technically isn't the best way to get the effect of rotated text, but I'm being a little lazy tonight. So just so you know, there are better ways to achieve this. I'm just not using them. Okay, so that's done. Now for the next one, I'm just going to duplicate this, move it into position. Don't think I need these extras actually. Let me drop this one up here. I'm really not sure why Inkscape is still moving so slowly. Probably gonna have to check and see if there's something running in the background, because it really shouldn't be this slow. Shouldn't be anything running in the background though, because I don't have anything else going on as far as I know. But that's computers for you. Alright, one sec, let me switch scenes and chat here. Can't really find a cause, so I'll just work with it as is. Maybe I need to turn off a few more of these scenes, or layers of me, so I can get some better performance. Yeah, that should make Inkscape behave itself. Or maybe not. Wow. Okay, that seems to be a little better now, so let me see if we can actually get this thing to look like I want it to. Not obsess over those details too much. Almost certain they don't really matter to anybody else. Okay, that's good there. Just need to move these. I have the overwhelming urge to start doing impressions, and I don't know why. Totally random. No one asks me why this teddy bear is playing with Blocksmart with random dots in different numbers. I don't know. Most toys don't look like that. They're not normally playing with dice, but no one will ask any questions because, hey, it's the teddy bear family. Those don't exist either. Okay, so that exposed some open spaces, but that's not a problem because this time I'm actually going to add stroke to each one of these. Each one of the faces. Let me just make sure they're actually white. Okay. Why is this percentage when I normally use pixels? That's weird. I just realized, by the way, I still haven't figured out how to remove this spam bot. Kind of bugging me a little bit. Oh, there we go. That should be a whole lot easier than it is, but I figured it out at least. I'm actually going to use some shading methods here. So I'm going to use a gradient, and the forward facing part of it should be lighter because the light is more toward this end. And then we're going to make the back here darker. And I'm going to repeat that on all of these faces. Alright, that's not lining up completely, so what I'm going to do is actually use a bit of a trick and add a shadow. Not stroke, fill. In fact, let me stretch this up this direction. Or better yet, could just go with a gradient on this. Now again, this is a matter of tricking the brain because the shadow isn't really necessary, but it will distract your mind from the fact that these lines don't accurately line up. And these are details that only kind of matter to me as an artist, but in my opinion, you should always work as though everyone is an artist, at least to an extent. That's just my personal opinion, because you want that when anyone looks at your work, that they're going to see the best that you can do. So that's why I try to operate. This particular song is always very low. I wonder why, because it makes it hard for me to hear what I'm saying. You know, it's funny, but even though I have 6 different children, not my own children, I mean my nieces and nephews in my life, I'm struggling to remember what their toys actually look like. Or at least when they're at this stage when they be playing with toys like this. Funny how the brain works, because I see them every day, and by them I mean their toys. I see them every day, and yet when I'm drawing now, for some reason I'm having a hard time remembering what toys should look like. So I'm really improvising at this point. This is definitely going to need to be a path. This is gonna sound really strange, but I have a sudden urge to start singing a bad lip reading song, and the unfortunate thing is I can't play it because copyright. So I would get in trouble if I did that. But I really would love to play a bad lip reading song and sing it right now because it's stuck in my head. This does not look remotely like a cube, so what I'm actually going to do with these is turn them into boxes. That way they don't look as weird. You could say I'm being a little bit lazy, but who cares? It's a teddy bear scene with a teddy bear family, and that's not real. So doesn't matter if they're a bunch of very weird looking boxes, right? That's one of those little trade secrets that you probably won't hear every artist tell you, but much of the time artists tend to just improvise when things aren't working and turn things into something else, and then you see this great work of art and you say, wow, you really must have put a lot of thought into that. And Turo is saying, nope. In our head we say that, we never admit that, that was a plan, because that takes away from all the flair. But in all honesty, most of the time when you see some great work of art and there's some small element that, it looks like it was really thought out, half the time it was accidental or it was something that didn't work, and then you say, hey, this doesn't look like a cat, so I'll make a boat, Seeing as this here is not a box, I will make this smaller. Will also help those shadows to make more sense. By the way, in case you hear any background noise, probably the children laughing in the background, that's totally unplanned, just part of family life. So if you're hearing that, that's what that is. Okay, I don't have snapping enabled, so why isn't this going into place as it should? Okay, so our baby teddy bear has enough random looking toys, except for the carrot. I forgot to do the carrot. Has enough random looking toys to play with. So after I add this carrot, I'll get to the baby teddy bear. And for a shape like this, you can start with a rectangle, then put it into the rough shape that you want to go with. Then these two ends here you can auto smooth. Then drag this end into position. If you don't want it so tapered, you could auto smooth that as well, but then you'd still have to, you know, play around too much with that. So what I'll do here, add some extra points and auto smooth. Oops. Auto smooth those, not this one. Right, that should give us what we're looking for. Oops. This end can be auto smooth because that's the top of the carrot. Just drop that here. And then I'm going to duplicate this, rotate, turn it green. I forgot I had the opacity turned on. Make this orange. I may change the color of the floor too because you need some more contrast. Or then again, I could just add an outline to this, that could work too. Alright, so I'm going to resize this. Move some stuff around a little bit. If you've watched my Humanality project video, the first one that I did, you'll see where I talked about design consistency and design commonality, and then the design diversity. Those are the three words. I couldn't get that word called for some reason. Anyway, but you will see that I talked about commonality, consistency, and diversity, and how you're using similar elements to produce a consistent result, but also still have diversity. That's what I'm doing here. So, the same object that I used to create the carrot, I duplicated that and just shifted a few things around, and you have a leaf. Then I can duplicate this and rotate it. Okay, Inkscape, please cooperate. There we go, thank you. Rotate that, duplicate it again, flip it, and rotate it. And there you go. Now all of these I'm going to add strokes to, but I'm going to duplicate them first, then add stroke, then turn it off, then move these down. Right. Turn stroke down a little bit. And blur. Duplicate. Turn the blur down. Move those downward. Alright, this one needs to move down some more. Duplicate again. And this time, right, I'm gonna turn this down this way. And then just turn on the opacity a bit. And this one needs to move down again. There we go. Then this, right, I'm going to duplicate that. In fact, let me move this up first. Duplicate it, add stroke, take off the fill, turn the stroke down in thickness, duplicate Duplicate again, turn on some blur. Let me turn this up a bit. Move that to the bottom. Duplicate again. Now if you're wondering, I'm basically layering effects to get the result that I want. And now I have everything in place. I can turn off this layer that had the rough illustration of what the toys are to look like. And it fits that bot shortly. I want to add some stripes to this. Before I do that, let me just adjust this stroke a bit. The last thing I want has a shadow to it. Let me move that down. Okay, now I'm going to use the graphics tablet to draw some lines on top of it. Now using strokes this time, I was going to use calligraphic lines, but I'm going to use strokes this time because I can adjust their thickness after the fact, and that gives me a little more control. Now don't mind that they're so rough, that doesn't really matter too much because I can still adjust them afterward, and plus I'm going to be blurring them anyway, so not that big of a deal. Alright, turn up the blur. Duplicate, turn it back down. I'm going to group all this and give them a gradient. These lines out here, this is a bit too thick, so I'm going to turn this down and blur it some more. Alright, much better. For some reason this box has some spaces in it that are not visible when you zoom in, and then they're visible when you zoom out. So to fix that, I'm going to duplicate it and give it some strokes. And I'm going to blur these a bit. And turn on the opacity on them. Duplicate again. Turn on the thickness and blur them some more. Part of it is visible up on that corner, so what I'm going to do is stretch this just a little bit. Alright, much better. So now when you zoom out, there's no more line appearing. Okay, so let me turn these layers back on, see what I'm working with. I can remove this extra layer that had the outline on it. Okay, so now for the baby teddy bear itself. Yeah, Inkscape is back to moving a little slow. I just wanted to see what I was working with. That's why I turned back on everything, but I need to turn it back off again. That's what happens when you're working with some slow hardware. Alright, just need to resize this to bring it into position. Then for the body, same thing. Then turn it into a path and adjust some elements of it a little bit. Okay, I think that's good there. So the next part is for the arms. case you're wondering why something as random as this, it really isn't so much about what I'm designing, but just about the fact that anyone can do this. I mean, you could argue not anyone can do it because you have to have the gift to see what it is that you're trying to design in your mind. But even if you were just going from a reference image, pretty much anyone can do this. You just have to put your mind to it and figure out what the concepts are, the basic concepts are, and you're good to go. It's not as hard as it looks. Sometimes, I mean, there are elements of design that take some planning and some skill and all that. But I think sometimes we can overcomplicate things. If you start simplicity, like I always say, everything becomes easy. Would you believe my mic was muted this whole time and I didn't even realize? I did quite a bit of talking and you missed it because my mic was muted that whole time. But Inkscape just crashed, so I'm going to try to reopen it and see if I can recover the scene and definitely save it, because I didn't remember to save it all that time. But I'm going to soon be done, probably in the next, I don't know, 10 minutes. While I'm waiting, just want to explain what I'm doing at this point. I'm just going to do the back wall in a different shade and probably put a few more shadows in for finishing touches, move around the toys a bit, and that will be it. That scene is done. But as I said earlier, you probably would have missed this when my mic was muted. The purpose of why I did this scene, which was kind of random, kind of impromptu, was to just show you that you can create anything that's in your mind if you put your mind to it. If you break it down into smaller pieces and you simplify it and you stack simplicity, as I always say, you can produce anything. So anybody, even if you don't have, you know, a whole lot of skill as a designer and all that, just make it simple and you can figure it out. Inkscape is taking forever to restart. Probably having some camera shyness issues or something. Yeah, while we wait on Inkscape to load again, I think it's actually ready to start working. Yeah, it seems that way. But while we wait on me to recover the scene and everything, let me just remind you of the Humanality project. I'm going to be resuming on Thursday, so I encourage you to stop by and give it a look, because I'm going to be doing some more teaching in that series, touching on the concepts of design commonality, design consistency, and design diversity. So I encourage you, if you can, stop by. If you miss it, follow me on YouTube or subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can catch it from there as well. Alright, we should have this scene back in a couple seconds. Yep, back in business. Sorry for that delay. I'm actually going to remove this particular toy that I originally had the baby teddy bear playing with, because I'm not that satisfied with it, and I'm going to replace that with the carrot. Right, there we go. Now I'm going to turn everything back on so I can see, except for this needs to go. Alright, I'm going to turn everything back on and see what we're working with. Alright, so the last thing I'm going to do is shade behind their heads to give a little bit of a shadow. Not really that necessary, and I'm going to change the shading here. I was going to put something in the window, but I probably won't bother with that, because I think the basic idea of this scene has run its course and my inspiration is fading, so I'm going to get on to other projects in future streams. But basically the point of this one is completed, which is to show you that if you start simplicity, you can basically achieve anything. And you know, I wanted to show you too that anybody can achieve it. So yeah, this scene has run its course, but I'll be getting on to some other projects in the near future. And like I would have said earlier, make sure that you follow the Humanity project. That is my big project that I'm doing right now, my major thing that I'm really enjoying doing, by the way. So make sure you stop by and catch up on that on Thursday. Alright, I'm gonna leave that alone because not that important. Okay, so the bat wall, let's see which one that is. Right, bat wall. I'm gonna change the color of this because I'm not particularly fond of it. At least not know how the rest of the scene looks. So I'm gonna make this brighter. I forgot there's another way I could do this in this newer version of Inkscape. Where is it? Alright, I'll have to find out another time, but there's an object dock that I could open and I could find this stuff with a lot easier. I don't remember where to open it from in the new version of Inkscape, so I'll just leave that alone. What I will do, on the other hand, is duplicate this wall. And right, that will allow me to brighten it by making it white and translucent. So there we go, much better. Now the last thing I want to do is to add some shading to the back of their heads. See, where should I put that? Probably behind the couch. Still can't see it though. I see what happened. blurring was turned on and turned up by far, so that was what happened there. Let me move this picture up. Alright, and that's that. So I hope you enjoyed that. Not one of my typical streams tonight, just basically want to finish this particular scene. I'm not gonna overcomplicate it, because my perfectionist ways would have me fixing everything like picture frames and all sorts of stuff. But I think it looks pretty good as is. So I'm going to make this available on my website, which should be rolandxr.pro/streaming. I still have to finish working on that, but I've been working on some other projects, that's why I haven't gone back to it. But this, along with other images I've created on stream, are going to be available there. I do have some available already if you want wallpapers that you can download just to remember me by. I don't think most of you will see me as that level of important, but if you do and you want to download wallpapers, you can. And I will be making some of the source files, so some of what I do available from there as well, so you can check it out. I'll also be soon putting up a GitLab page for my streams where you can get stuff and contribute if you want to make changes or whatever, because I'm going to be doing more than just SVG. Obviously I also do CSS streams, so if you're interested in CSS or you want to learn CSS, you can follow my streams as well for that purpose. So until next time, thank you for watching and hope to see you soon. I'll be back on Thursday, 5:30 Eastern time, Barbados time, Atlantic time, all those times is the same thing. 5:30 Thursday I'll be back continuing the Humanality project, and we'll be doing some more design consistency, commonality and diversity. So hope you enjoyed it, and I am out.